Spain was once considered Europe's financial problem child. Now it's emerging as an economic powerhouse. For the first time in nearly 2 decades, Spain's deficit to GDP ratio will fall below Germany's. Deutsche Welle correspondent Warda Imran joins us now from Berlin. Warda, g'day. So why is Spain outperforming some of its European peers?
Thanks for having me. Yes, let's just jump into the numbers. So looking at the GDP, Spain's forecast for this year is 2.9% growth. Now compare that to Germany's predicted 0.2% growth. And you can see that the difference is massive. This trend is also set to continue for the coming years. And like you said, for the first time in nearly 2 decades, Spain's deficit to GDP ratio will be lower than that of Germany. One of the big reasons Spain's economy is doing better is its approach to migration. Spain, unlike some of its European peers, including Germany, has remained largely pro-migration. There are more than 9 million immigrants in Spain, with a yearly increase of 600,000 people. Now, many of these migrants come from South America, and most of them do speak Spanish already, so removing that core language barrier. Another reason is its growing investment in renewables. According to the government of Spain, wholesale electricity prices have fallen 40% in the first half of this year. And a third big reason is innovation. Now, both in the digital startup culture and also in the green transition. And there are many other reasons, but these seem to be the top 3 behind Spain's success.
So what can Germany learn from Spain's example?
I think Germany could learn to be a lot faster in their response. Looking at investment in renewables, for example, Germany has also made major investments and strides, but the implementation is still riddled with bureaucracy and grid challenges. So the impact of this investment in green energy hasn't been really seen yet. Another example is also exposure to U.S. tariffs. Now, the whole of Europe is impacted by President Trump's tariffs, but Spain's economy is a bit protected because they have less direct trade exposure to the U.S. Spain's trade is more geared towards the Eurozone. So in that way, they're also doing better. An economist we spoke to said that because Spain's economy has seen more shocks, it's just more resilient. And with Germany, that's not necessarily the case. So the response here is just naturally slower. So what Germany can really learn is removal of potential hurdles and faster response.
And how are Spanish residents reacting to this news?
Well, even though the economy growing is a good news, the residents of the country are still really struggling. In Spain, the average person is still poorer than the average European. There is a massive housing crisis, and unemployment is still one of the highest in the continent. So the issues on the ground are still very much there. There's also a very big difference in approach between the government, which is rather pro-migration, and the people, which have mixed concerns. A poll conducted by El País showed that 40% of the people surveyed are still worried about migration, making this their 5th biggest concern. Other major concerns are inflation, housing issues, inequality, and unemployment. But these issues also extend to migrants who worry that they will be the first to be axed when it's time to do job cuts.
OK, we'll leave there. Warda Imran in Berlin. Time now for finance. Here's Sam Yang.